Welcome to another episode of Series C Growthonomics. We'll continue our Mythbuster series. Today, I'm going to talk about where there is data, there is chaos. So let's talk about why many of us have experienced this world where as the data, and many of you are from the startup world, I understand, and you start with your business. I'm going to call this data, the volume of data, and the sources and all of that. Basically, complexity of data is increasing, volume, velocity, variety, and so on and so forth. And let's call this chaos. Initially, as you start, you have, maybe all you have is Google Analytics, some ways of capturing data. Then you have another tool called Amplitude. And then, AppsFlyer is another place where your data is coming in from. Your product managers use Amplitude. Your web analytics people are using this Google Analytics. And then the people who are settling finance people are probably using data from AppsFlyer. That's more accurate. And, this whole sort of like as the data is increasing for you, the chaos keeps increasing, and sometimes in a very exponential manner. More and more data tools, vendors are feeding into this chaos. Different folks are coming in, needing different tools. Now you need a CRM tool, so you have Braze, and so on. So at some point, it is impossible, and it's steep. This is steep. Your chaos is high. Anybody wanting to pull revenue, for example, simple things, has to merge and look at 5 different tables and maybe concat in there, like looking at even the lists within that. It's crazy. Even a simple thing meaning not simple, but most important KPI, like revenue, takes forever to get to. And things are slow. Your Tableau dashboard, which is feeding off of your data, which is dumped into your data lake, let's say Azure, takes forever to build. So all that is chaos. And you think, oh my God, this is just the beginning. As we scale, this was going from 0 to 1. As I scale, we want to go from 1 to 100, 1 to 10. What will happen? Is this where I'm headed to? And this is a great point, or even sometime before, to actually shape it up. How will you shape it up? You will shape it up by a concept called single source of truth. This is a great time to invest in, single source of truth, where you start looking at data governance, data standardization. You're creating data models. You are creating everything in a easily accessible or aggregated EDW, enterprise data warehouse tables. All of this process of business in perspective of figuring out what your top KPIs and driver metrics are, identifying 300, 500, I would say 300 metrics, top 300 metrics which are relevant, and you'll calculate those or get those 300 metrics from both your past usage of where your product managers, marketing managers, what kind of data they need, as well as your creating a process called KPI DuPont, figuring out your top metrics, the driver metrics, and so on, and really invest in getting a single source of truth, which then feeds into dashboards and views which are all aligned. Single definitions. You're going to invest in making sure that your definitions are aligned and things are reconciled, and so on. This whole process is called single source of truth. It is not hard to do. It is doable within 6 to 9 months. We do this all the time with our startup clients. 6 to 9 months, you can shape up your data warehouse or database or data access and all of that. And your chaos, basically chaos index, will drop very low to very low. It's never 0, very low. And then from there on, as you scale, you'll have also in this single source of truth, you'll have something called an instrumentation plan. You can Google all of these. These are well-known topics. You can also Google single source of truth. There's actually an article by me, which was published in TTWI, also has a lot of details on how to build single source of truth. The point being, Now your data will continue to increase, but the chaos will not. So I hope this was useful. Just because you have crazy amount of data does not mean it has to be chaotic. If you put systems in place, if you put business processes or identify those business processes which can be streamlined, if you can collate the number of tools that you have, not more than 5, 6 potentially, and so on. There's some architecturing, there's some modeling that is needed at this point, but it's not an impossible problem to do. And in fact, it's a very good time if you are feeling like, oh my God, our data is choking us. It's a really good time to stop and not stop your business, but really take a pause on all things data and invest in single source of truth. Invest in that whole process. And if you're a startup, let's say Series BC, validated model, million plus customer, paying customer, 30 million plus visitors, or that kind of magnitude, it should not take you more than 6 to 9 months to shape up your single source of truth. Hopefully you find this useful. Comments are always welcome. See you next time.